Malik Washington is honestly getting worse for Maryland football.
You are Locked On Terps, your daily podcast on the Maryland Terps, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? I'm Trey Moore, host of Locked On Terps, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So thank you guys for making us part of your day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Maryland football. Malik Washington, the QB for Maryland football, is honestly regressing pretty bad this season. And so Malik Washington, the prize recruit, kind of our star, our franchise player that everyone kind of thinks is the next big thing for Maryland football, is now almost most of the way through his freshman year. We still have a couple games left, but he's played a lot of football. He's definitely played a lot of football. He's put a lot on tape. We've seen some talent. We've seen some big-time throws. We've seen a lot of it, and a lot of things that allow us to say he's going to be a really good player, hopefully continuing to be at the University of Maryland. But in the future, right now, he's already a good player, and I think we disappointed him a little bit with the supporting cast we have put around him in different things like that. But I think it's fair to say we've seen a regression now for Malik Washington. It's something I don't want to say. It's not something I necessarily want to talk about, and I don't necessarily think it's his fault. But usually you want to see freshmen continue to get better. You want to see them to continue to improve. You want to see them to continue to grow, especially when they play quarterback. Like, you don't want a quarterback that's doing the opposite. And it almost feels like Malik Washington is doing the opposite. It looks like he's starting to slide. He started off really well, and then middle of the season, we weren't necessarily winning games middle of the season, but we were in games, and a lot of it was because of him. And now we're watching a slide go on and a regression go on that just isn't great. I mean, there's a couple different components to this that are definitely scary. I mean, there's one, just the development of Malik Washington in terms of him as a player. Freshman year is a huge year to get better, to continue to improve, kind of like what I talked about. And the fact that he's getting worse is not just concerning about Malik Washington. It's concerning for our entire team. Like this weekend or last weekend against Rutgers, 15 of 28 only threw for 98 yards, 53% completion, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's just not very good. It's inefficient, very limited yards. We're not throwing the ball down the field very much at all. And it's not all on him, but that's just the scenario that's going on right now for our team. Indiana, we lost 55-10, only 16 completions on 31 attempts. He did have some big plays, 242 yards, but again, 2 interceptions to only 1 touchdown. Just not a great overall game. UCLA, 48 attempts, but we only get 210 yards. Again, inefficient, 47% completion percentage. And if you continue to go up, some of the earlier games, and yeah, albeit it was against FAU where he threw for 258 yards on 62% completion percentage and 3 touchdowns, and had a great game against Towson. But even when we look back at the game against Wisconsin, 18 of 34, 2 touchdowns. When you looked at the game against Washington, like he made some huge throws, or even against Nebraska. And it's concerning, like Nebraska, I thought he made some plays to keep us in it. 27 of 37, 249 yards. That's 73% completion and a touchdown, no interceptions. So it's starting to become concerning that every week he looks a little bit worse. I think that's fair to say. And I'm not blaming it on him. I think there's so many different components to it. You start with the top. We've been talking about Mike Locksley. He just hasn't been a good coach. Hasn't been a good head coach. And I think it's as simple as that. Mike Locksley has not been a good football coach for us. He just hasn't done the things that we've wanted him to do. And I think he's let Malik Washington down in a lot of ways. And I think this offense has just kind of crumbled. The offensive line's been pretty bad. There's absolutely zero run game when we look at it, like a zero run game. Last game against Rutgers was the first time we had somewhat of a run game. But other than that, there hasn't been a run game all season, whether it's DeJuan, whether it's Nolan Ray. It's been incredibly disappointing, and that's a trend we've seen under Maryland football, and we talk about it every single year under Mike Locksley, is that the run game is just bad. It's just bad. And so a lot of it comes down to when you start playing some of these Big Ten opponents, and we've seen Malik Washington regress. I said it. I was concerned because we weren't getting any support, and we put way too much pressure on him. Now where you're seeing a product where teams are starting to understand us better. I think that's pretty clear. Teams are starting to understand our passing game better. It doesn't look great. It's just going downhill in a lot of ways, and it's way too many attempts. It's way too many passing attempts. It just is. Like a bad game, he's getting 31 attempts against Indiana, or a bad game, he's getting 34 attempts against Wisconsin, and that's a low attempt rate for him. There's games against FAU where he throws the ball 43 times. UCLA, 48 attempts. Nebraska, 37. That's a lot of attempts for a quarterback to have. And so I think a big part of the regression is on Mike Locksley. He hasn't put together a supporting cast that's good enough. I think our receivers are okay. I think they're okay at best. I thought they would be more of a strength of the team, but they haven't stepped up quite like we wanted them to. I mean, Jaleel Farouk, Octavian Smith, I think neither of those guys have been quite what we wanted them to be this year. I mean, they've been decent in terms of just like when you kind of like lose the fact that we thought they were going to be big time players, and you just look at the stats, you're like, oh, they were decent. But we expect those guys to be one. We expect those guys to be really good players. And it's not like they've been bad. They've had their moments, and they just haven't been great. I think the only guy that has surpassed our expectations offensively in terms of outside of Malik Washington has really been Shalik Knotts. He's put up some big performances. He's done some good things. But other than that, our receivers have been disappointing. Dorian Fleming hasn't done much recently. And our offensive line, again, has been bad. It's been bad. We got a lot of guys back up there. We tried and added some few players. It just hasn't been good. And so there's a lot of different reasons for the Malik Washington regression, but you're seeing a lot of them up close, and you're seeing a lot of them just not go the way we want them to. And so it's bad currently for Maryland football and for Malik Washington, and there's a lot of things that need to be fixed for Maryland football. But Malik Washington, I want to say is very far from being the problem, but you are seeing a guy that is getting worse. And it's something that we have to talk about. It's something that does matter. And so I'm not going to say it's not any of it's not on him. Like, it's definitely some of it's on him. Like, we've seen him not be as comfortable. We've seen him overthrow guys, different things like that. He mentioned he's not used to losing this much, which is completely fair. But at the end of the day, I'm just not going to blame our highly talented freshman quarterback when we've seen him stick in the pocket and make big-time throws after big-time throws, and guys let him down. Guys have let him down with no run game, not much of a supporting cast, and he's done a pretty good job, all things considered, but he's getting worse. And there's another piece to this where it's like, I mean, Malik Washington's a smart kid. He's going to look at this year and be like, he's trying to go to the NFL. Like, I think it's a talent to do that. He's a talent to be an NFL quarterback. I think it's very safe to say he could look at this year and say, I wanted to be a hometown hero. I wanted to do all these different things at the University of Maryland, but the opportunity for me to be great is somewhere else. And all of a sudden we see one of these big-time programs, whether it's Big Ten or SEC school, get their hands on Malik Washington. And next thing we know, we're watching him throw footballs for, I don't know, the University of Alabama or something crazy like that. You guys know what I mean. And so he could look at it and be like, I need someone that's going to give me a supporting cast, someone that's going to be good around me. And that's another important part of this that is just going to continue to be discussed until the offseason, because we just don't know what will happen. I don't think anyone feels confident, but it's definitely something to be worried about overall. Maryland basketball gets a big win. We'll talk a little bit more about that over Alcorn State, what it means, who played well, the lineups, all those different things. We'll talk about that next. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorsteps tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the businesses. Their real-time inventory and honest lead time keeps you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has the next day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. Visit Supply House to sign up for free and use promo code SHCOLLEGE5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. So we got to watch Maryland basketball in action last night against Alcorn State, where I thought it was a decent game. I thought the halftime score was a little bit concerning. We were only up 6 on Alcorn State. I was like, come on, guys. Like, let's get it together a little bit. But I thought things ended up being okay. Like, stuff started to work out. We're starting to see how this team is going to be. And so I think there is still some offensive, definitely some offensive things that are definitely concerning. Maryland was sloppy, and against a team like Alcorn State, seeing 17 turnovers on the day, and a lot of those came from our big men, that's not something I want to see. 17 turnovers against Alcorn State is concerning. I think it's that simple. When you have that many turnovers against an Alcorn State team that just isn't very good. And you wonder when we play Marquette, a team that prides itself on the defensive side of things, are they going to be able to turn us over? Are they going to be able to get out on us? Are they going to be able to force a lot of turnovers? And some of them are definitely just sloppy. And I think some of it's just having a new coach and buzz and like just new systems in place. But to me, 17 turnovers is bad. And 4 by Pharrell Payne, 3 by Elijah Sanders. Those are 2 big guys. I mean, those guys can't be having 7 turnovers combined. That was one of my problems with Derek Queen. I loved Derek Queen as a player. I think we all did. I think that's a very common take out of people, that they like the way Derek Queen did things. But Derek Queen would turn over the ball. He would turn over the ball. And that was one of my things. It's like, as a 4 or 5 type of guy, Derek Queen, we can't have him turning over the ball this much. It just can't happen. And so that was one thing that I really didn't appreciate from Maryland basketball in the game, something I didn't like seeing, because when those turnover things start, when those turnover problems start, sometimes they're hard to end. And I think that was something that definitely needs to end, because I remember when at times we'd have problems with it last year, and it really hurt us. No matter how talented of a team you are, you can have that problem. It's not necessarily a talent thing. I think it's more of an organization type of thing, getting used to the players around you. And it's a completely new team, so we're still kind of getting used to that. It's just something that we don't want to see. Another thing that was concerning quickly, Miles Rice out again, which is definitely is something I don't want to see. I'd rather him just miss time and miss complete time rather than him being, in a game, out a game. I think that's something we need to consider. I don't know if he's going to be back for this game against Marquette this weekend, but if he's not ready and he's going to be back in a boot and misses the next game, I'd rather just not see him. Like, don't be here, don't play if you're not ready. And I think the Maryland training staff will get there. I know we probably try to get him to, he looked pretty good in the game against Georgetown. He looked like arguably our best player, him and Pharrell Payne. And I think he's our starting guard this year, but we just need him to get completely healthy, because if he's not, if he rushes back too quick, it just ain't going to work. And so we need time. We need to give him a little bit of time, whatever the case is. But the fact he's back in the boot is definitely concerning. So those are a couple of things that were bad. One thing that I thought was cool is Del Pino. He was out of the starting lineup, but he definitely did some things off the bench that I thought was good. He had a transition layup. He had a 3, a mid-range floater, a little bit more aggressive, 7 points and 2 assists. Definitely what we see. I've been trying to figure out, because I'm not at practice every day, so we don't understand. And Del Pino, I think, is one of those guys it's just confusing. It's like, well, how good is this kid? He's in our starting lineup against Georgetown. He starts the first game of the season. Like, clearly he showed something at practice that has allowed him to be in the rotation and to feel, and for Buzz Williams to feel like he can play. And so him coming off the bench is going to be something, I think, this year. I think there's a potential for that. And he looked good doing it coming off the bench. He did some good things coming off the bench. He made a 3, like I said, a floater, transition layup. And so Del Pino might actually be something this year. I'm still trying to figure him out. But we did see David start instead. I thought he did decent. I think the whole team is a bit inefficient, which I think is not great. It's just we just don't shoot the ball necessarily great. But I think starting David Coit was definitely the right move. Especially with how this year's gone with Del Pino. And I think Pino coming off the bench, I think that works better for Maryland basketball. I think that's the better move for us. So I thought that was a good move. Pharrell Payne, continue to see him look just like a man amongst boys. 22 and 7, 3 offensive rebounds. Like I said, the 4 turnovers needs to stop. But 8 of 10 from the field, it's honestly just a little bit easy out there for him. And then Andre Mills, I mean, he's interesting, man. I'm still trying to figure him out as well with this. I'm trying to figure everyone out. Besides Pharrell Payne, I'm still trying to figure everyone out, to be honest. But he's very interesting. It's like I can't tell whether he's a good shooter of the ball or not. 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, which was great to see. He shot the ball well, 16 points. So I definitely thought he did some good things. He also had 3 turnovers, which can't happen, but he's athletic, man. 8 rebounds, too. He rebounds for a guard, 3 assists, 2 steals. Like he was pretty in the stat sheet, which is good to say. He's a really good athlete. He's a lot of potential. If he continues to shoot the ball well, like I'm not convinced he's a great shooter. It's just when I watch him, I'm just not convinced. But if he continues to shoot this way, he's going to be a dude for us. He's going to be really good. If he's a streaky shooter, he still has a chance to be pretty good. But if he can shoot the ball, he's going to be a really good player for us. So that's exciting. Darius Adams, I mean, he's just concerning a bit. He's just very, like, you can see the talent. The efficiency is just not there. 3 of 11 from the field, 27%, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. Like, he's scoring, but it's like the amount of shots he's taken, you ought to think he would score the ball a little bit more. And then Isaiah Watts, I think, he just needs to get to the rim a little bit more. And he didn't shoot the ball well either. So I think those are a couple different things. I thought Austin played a lot more minutes than what we expected, the freshman, which was interesting. He had 13 minutes, scored his first points of the season, had 3 rebounds. And if you look at how much George Turkson plays, and I think they're similar kind of roles, he only played 8 minutes. So you wonder if he's going to be a guy potentially in that rotation. I think that's something that is interesting. That could be something for Maryland basketball. So we'll definitely see that as well. Zion Elee update. I'm not convinced he's going to stay a Terp. I just don't know. We'll talk about that next. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game, you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 of bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. You guys have to go over to FanDuel. There's so many different things to bet on. There's so many different things to do on FanDuel. So you guys have to have the opportunity to be able to do that. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up, play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So Zion Elee, 5-star Maryland commit for football is honestly an outlier right now. And he's just an outlier when it comes to Maryland football. Our 2026 class looks like one of the worst class in Power Fives besides him. And the fact that we're ranked in the 70th-ish ranking with Zion Elee in our class is really concerning. And it shows that people aren't picking us like that 2025 class where I was excited. People really aren't picking us as much. And Zion Elee, a lot of the program starts with him. And I feel like as he moves, it's kind of the temperature we're going to start to feel for Mike Locksley and Maryland football. I do think Zion Elee is part of the reason. I don't want to say why Mike Locksley is still the coach, but part of the reason why it's still like, okay, like he was able to land this type of talent. It's still like you're going to always have the question mark. If the games were a little bit better, like what would he be able to do with some of this? But you still have to stand there and be like, we haven't won close games. But I'm just continuing to be more on the side that I don't feel good about Zion Elee staying a Terp. I just don't. I mean, I don't know what will happen, but I don't know. There's some weird posts going on, and he's been doing some weird things, but I'm just not convinced. Like after on Instagram, there was like the post a photo on Sunday of him like sporting South Carolina gear on a recent visit while reconfirming his commitment to Maryland. It definitely raises a little bit of an eyebrow. It's a little bit weird. And with the current condition of Maryland football, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, that kid's going to stay a Maryland Terrapin. And we did see the freshman success this year. Sydney Stewart and Zahir Mathis play really well. They've cooled off a tad bit, but they've still been really good players this year for Maryland football. And they're similar type of guys, similar positions. And Zion Elee must think that he can come in and make an impact. Like Sydney Stewart obviously has 6 sacks and a forced fumble. I think any of us would have signed up for that. I doubt he gets to double-digit sacks in his freshman year, but 8 sacks as a freshman, if he gets that, it's a really solid year for Sydney Stewart. Zahir Mathis is 4.5 sacks. Like both of those guys have been really good. So maybe Zion Elee is like, yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. Maryland football, whatever. But a part of me is just like, this program's in the dumps, man. Like, let's call it spade a spade. We're in the dumps. And I don't know who we're going to keep, who we're going to lose in the offseason. I think that's going to be the talk for me. Like, can we keep a guy like Zahir Mathis or Sydney Stewart or Carlton Smith or guys like that? And can we maintain Zion Elee? Obviously, it's signing day today. Guys are starting to sign, and whatever the case is, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see because I know that some of the other programs he was looking at, that Zion Elee was looking at, have lost their coach. Like I know Auburn doesn't have their coach right now, and different things like that. But you just wonder. In South Carolina, where I know was in his decision, they haven't been good all year. They haven't been great this year either. They had a good year the year before, but this year they haven't been that good. So you just wonder and you start to think, is he going to stay a Maryland Terrapin? And I lean towards no, but there's got to be something keeping him. We had to muster up some money for Zion Elee. I don't know how much it was, but it had to be a good amount. If he's still committed to Maryland, I think that's just the reality of the situation. And I don't know if we're going to keep him, but I hope so. That's all we have for today. Thank you guys for listening to Locked on Terps. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We're here every day talking Maryland football and basketball. So thank you guys for listening to Locked on Terps.